Hello my lovely Year 6 artists, welcome to the second lesson in our pattern portrait printing project. We're taking inspiration from Sara Choudhrey today, who uses the beautiful geometric designs. She also has done a lovely series of artworks with the Arabesque style, which is also known as biomorphic art, which means bios meaning life and morphe meaning to shape or form. So it's this stylized form of creating plants and living things. And the first thing you need to do is choose one of her pieces. Have a really good look through and have a look at those. You're also going to need a print roller, some masking tape, some of this special glossy plastic paper, which is called freezer paper. Very cheap to buy and you can do lots of stuff with this. And then you need some printing ink and a printing tray, and you need some colour pencils. So you're going to stick this straight onto your desk. You stick down this piece of the freezer paper. You'll see that it's very glossy on one side and matte on the other. The matte goes face down and the glossy needs to be face up. You need the shiny side upwards because we're going to use this as our surface to print from. So we're getting our masking tape and we're kind of making a frame all the way around. Can you see? I'm just using a little bit on the actual paper, and then most of it's on the table because we're making it really nice and solid. I also sort of stretch this because I want it as flat as possible. Now you could work in pairs to help each other do this. You each need one of these stuck down onto your table, but you could help each other and get this done. So once you've made this border, you put a tiny bit of ink onto the corner. It's so much easier to put more on than take it off. And what we need to do is create a nice flat surface of the ink where we're spreading it out. Now be patient because you want this to be as thin a layer of ink as possible, and we don't just want to blob more ink on for no reason. In fact, just looking at this, I can already tell there's too much ink on this one, so I'm going to have to blot it with a piece of scrap paper or newspaper. I'm just going to rub it on, and look how much ink I've pulled off, and there's still loads on there. You fold that up, put it in the bin if you have to blot it. So don't use too much ink. Now we lay down our first sheet of cartridge paper, but we don't touch it. We don't smooth it down, because what we're doing here is we're going to be picking up the ink onto our piece of paper on the underneath side. Now we lay on one of Sara Choudhrey's beautiful pieces on the top, and we're going to begin to draw over all the lines with our colour pencil. The reason we use colour pencil is it means we can see it really well. And what I'm just showing you here is you must not lean on the paper at all. You've got to draw with your wrist off of the paper. It's pretty tricky. Can you see I've just got one finger holding the picture down? I don't want to put another finger mark anywhere else onto my outline drawing here, because that's going to make the ink go onto the piece of paper. So if I leant on it, there'd be a huge arm mark printed on. So you've got to keep your hand lifted off as you draw. It's quite tricky, and you're going to want to do this several times, and that's fine. It's great, this process, because that's the point of printing, that you can repeat yourself. You can make many copies of something. This type of printing is actually called monoprinting, because mono means one, and it means that you're actually getting one unique print. But we're going to make a series of these prints because we're going to use the same picture. We're going to draw over again. Now I'm just sticking down my piece there, my piece of paper on the side, because it means I can flip it up and have a look. And if it was not good, if I missed bits out, I could then put it back on there. But I couldn't do that if I hadn't taped that bit on. And I'm happy with that. I'm just writing my name on. And now I'm going to do another one. So I roll over this, spreading that ink out. I need to make sure I can make all those lines vanish. You may need to add a tiny bit more of the black ink, but probably not. And actually, the less you use, the better. Same as before, laying on a piece of paper. I'm going to actually stick this one down this time because I think that worked really well to be able to flip it up. And same thing, one finger holding it down, and I begin to draw over it. Notice I've changed my pencil. I went from a green to an orange. This is so I could see the difference. If I used green pencil again, I wouldn't be able to tell where I'd already drawn. And I want to make sure I get every bit of detail in. And orange wasn't great on this actually because of the cold, but never mind, it still managed. Remember, we can flip it up, and if we want to put it back down, we can, because we can get it back in the right place with the help of that masking tape. But I'm really happy with that again. Lucky me, didn't miss it out. That's the key of using the colour pencil, so you can really see. And there we go. They are slightly different from each other as they're monoprints, but it's very hard to spot the difference. Okay, you can do this as many times as you want to in the lesson. You can change the inspiring artwork. You can swap over this piece for another one, whatever you want to do, and just keep going, keep printing and enjoy it. Now, when it's time to clear up, this is beautiful. If you have not made an old mess by rolling the roller in places you shouldn't, all you need to do is just carefully peel up this masking tape and roll up the printing ink. So that's the paper there. That's the artwork that we can't use again because we've drawn over it. And we just keep rolling this up, and it's ready to go in the bin. How nice and neat is that? That is a really neat and simple way of doing printing monoprints without making a horrible mess. So let's have a look at what we've produced today. I've done 2 prints. You might do 3, you might do 4, you might change the image, whatever you want to do, but it's a lovely technique. And what I did is I decided to cut around the outsides of those shapes because we didn't need all that extra paper. And I think they look rather good together. So good luck with that, everyone. Have fun. Bye.